I'm so glad you found your way here. Your brain is processing emotions right now, softening painful memories, strengthening joyful ones, deciding what to keep and what to release while you simply rest. You'll discover how sleep softens feelings you didn't know needed tending, and understand why tomorrow's mood is being gently shaped tonight. Welcome to Sleepy Science Facts. Wherever you are right now, perhaps wondering about your own emotions or feeling the weight of today's experiences, allow yourself this exploration. Now, settle in. You're in your safe space while your brain quietly repairs itself, sorting through today's emotional experiences, filing some away, dimming others, preparing your heart for tomorrow. Allow yourself this moment of peace. We'll journey through 100 psychology facts about emotional healing during sleep. From the moment you close your eyes and emotions begin their nightly transformation, to the deep processing that happens in dreams, to waking up somehow lighter than before. This thoughtful journey through consciousness builds bridges between searching minds. A gentle subscribe, like, or sharing your thoughts creates a pathway for more emotion seekers to discover this sanctuary and brings us closer to protect it, one sleepy soul at a time. Your healing journey inspires ours. Let yourself settle completely here. Feel your jaw unclench, your breath deepen naturally. You can let these thoughts drift past without holding them. Sense that soothing heaviness enveloping you, like your consciousness slowly dimming its brightness. Thoughts dissolving into the peaceful fog of approaching sleep, safe and undisturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. You're floating where emotions rest safely in gentle darkness. Let your mind merge with infinite peace. And now we begin. Your brain doesn't turn off emotional processing when you fall asleep. Recent studies from the University of California, Berkeley, in 2024, show that the same neural networks involved in processing emotions during wakefulness remain active throughout the night, though they function differently. The amygdala, your brain's emotional center, continues responding to emotional memories even in deep sleep. What changes is how these emotions are handled. During sleep, the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for rational thinking, reduces its inhibitory control, allowing emotions to be processed without the constant filtering and suppression that happens during the day. This creates a unique window where your brain can sort through emotional experiences more freely, deciding which feelings deserve long-term storage and which can be softened or released. Sleep becomes a nightly emotional laboratory. The journey of emotional processing begins the moment you close your eyes. Within the first few minutes of drowsiness, your brain starts to replay the day's emotional events in what neuroscientists call emotional replay sequences. Research published in Nature Neuroscience in early 2025 used advanced brain imaging to track these replays in real time. They found that your hippocampus, the memory center, begins selecting which emotional moments from your day deserve further processing. Not every feeling makes the cut. Your brain prioritizes emotions that were particularly intense, novel, or relevant to your survival and well-being. A difficult conversation with a loved one gets queued for processing. A stranger's rude comment in the grocery store might be discarded before you even reach deep sleep. This initial sorting happens automatically, without conscious effort. During the first stage of sleep, called NREM Stage 1, your emotional memories begin to loosen their grip on your conscious mind. This transition period, lasting only 5 to 10 minutes, serves as an emotional decompression chamber. Your heart rate slows, your muscles relax, and the intense emotional charge attached to recent experiences starts to fade. Studies from the Max Planck Institute in 2024 found that stress hormones, like cortisol, begin declining within minutes of sleep onset, creating a calmer biochemical environment for emotional processing. Your brain starts to separate the factual content of memories from their emotional intensity. You remember what happened, but the sting begins to soften. This early stage sets the foundation for the deeper emotional work that will happen as the night progresses, preparing your mind for transformation. As you descend into NREM Stage 2 sleep, which occupies nearly half of your total sleep time, your brain engages in what researchers call emotional tagging. The thalamus, acting as a relay station, helps determine which emotions will be strengthened and which will be weakened during the night. A 2024 study from Harvard Medical School found that positive emotional memories receive more frequent replay tags during this stage, while negative emotions are replayed less intensely. This isn't about denial or suppression, it's about balance. Your brain naturally gravitates toward preserving experiences that felt good, meaningful, or growth-promoting, while allowing painful experiences to maintain their factual content but lose some emotional charge. Sleep spindles, brief bursts of brain activity, appear to coordinate this tagging process, acting like emotional highlighters for your memory system. Your brain's emotional processing follows a predictable rhythm throughout the night, cycling through different sleep stages approximately every 90 minutes. Each cycle serves a different emotional function. The first cycle of the night tends to focus on recent emotional experiences, things that happened today or yesterday. Research from the Sleep and Neuroimaging Laboratory at UC Berkeley in 2024 showed that the brain processes hot emotions, fresh anger, recent joy, new anxiety, during these early cycles. As the night progresses, later sleep cycles shift toward integrating these new emotions with older emotional memories, creating narrative continuity in your emotional life. By morning, you've cycled through 4 to 6 complete emotional processing sessions, each one refining how you feel about your experiences and who you are. The relationship between sleep and emotional regulation is so fundamental that even one night of poor sleep disrupts it measurably. Studies published in the Journal of Neuroscience in late 2024 found that people who slept only 5 hours showed a 60% increase in amygdala reactivity to negative images the next day compared to those who slept 8 hours. The amygdala becomes more responsive, reacting more readily to potential threats and negative stimuli. At the same time, the connection between the amygdala and the prefrontal cortex, which normally helps regulate emotional responses, becomes quieter, less coordinated. This creates a challenging combination: stronger negative emotions alongside reduced ability to manage them. Sleep deprivation doesn't just make you tired, it fundamentally alters how you experience and respond to your emotional world. Your brain processes different types of emotions using different sleep stages, though there's often overlap. Research from the Netherlands Institute for Neuroscience in 2024 found that anxiety and fear-based emotions show particularly strong processing during REM sleep, when dreams occur, while sadness and grief often involve more activity during deep, slow-wave sleep. Those dealing with recent trauma or fear spent more time in REM sleep, as if the brain knew it needed extra dream time to work through those particular emotions. People experiencing grief or loss showed longer periods of slow-wave sleep. Your brain appears to adjust its sleep architecture based on emotional needs. Spending more time in whichever stages will best address what you're feeling. The neurotransmitter balance in your brain shifts dramatically during sleep, creating optimal conditions for emotional processing. Norepinephrine, a stress-related chemical that's abundant during wakefulness, drops to nearly zero during REM sleep. This discovery, highlighted in 2024 research from the University of Geneva, explains why REM sleep is so effective at reducing the emotional intensity of memories. Without norepinephrine flooding your system, you can revisit emotionally charged experiences in a calmer neurochemical state. It's like your brain creates a safe space where you can process difficult feelings without the physical stress response that normally accompanies them. The memory remains intact, but the emotional sting decreases. Sleep offers what therapy aims for: a chance to face emotions without being overwhelmed. Sleep doesn't just process yesterday's emotions. It prepares you emotionally for tomorrow. Research from the University of Arizona in early 2025 found that adequate sleep significantly improves your ability to accurately read other people's facial expressions and emotional states, sometimes by as much as 20 to 40%. After a full night's rest, you're better at detecting subtle emotional cues, interpreting social situations, and responding appropriately to others' feelings. Your emotional intelligence literally improves overnight. Conversely, sleep deprivation impairs your ability to distinguish between friendly and threatening faces, leading to social misunderstandings and unnecessary conflict. The emotional preparation that happens during sleep extends beyond processing your own feelings. It attunes you to the emotional landscape you'll navigate when you wake. So yes, emotions don't stop when you sleep. They transform through a sophisticated process that's still revealing new secrets to scientists. Your sleeping brain is conducting what researchers now call overnight emotional therapy, a natural healing process that happens automatically every night. Studies across multiple sleep laboratories in 2024 confirmed that this nightly emotional processing is not optional luxury, but biological necessity. People prevented from completing full sleep cycles showed impaired emotional memory processing, reduced emotional regulation, and increased mood sensitivity. Your brain has evolved this nightly emotional maintenance system over millions of years. Trust that as you rest, deeper healing is already underway, working in ways your conscious mind cannot. The physical environment of sleep creates ideal conditions for emotional healing. When you lie down and close your eyes, your body temperature drops slightly, your breathing slows, and your heart rate decreases, all signals to your brain that it's safe to process difficult emotions. A 2024 study from Stanford University found that people sleeping in cooler rooms, around 65 to 68 degrees Fahrenheit, showed more effective emotional memory processing than those in warmer environments. The cooler temperature appears to support the deep sleep stages where emotional integration occurs. Your body's physical comfort directly influences your brain's ability to heal emotional wounds, reminding us that emotional health and physical rest are inseparably linked. Dreams serve as emotional dress rehearsals for waking life. During REM sleep, Your brain simulates emotional scenarios, sometimes recreating actual experiences, sometimes creating entirely fictional situations, allowing you to practice emotional responses in a consequence-free environment. Research published in Psychological Science in 2024 found that people who dreamed about emotionally challenging situations showed improved emotional coping strategies when facing similar situations while awake. Your dreaming brain tests different responses, explores alternative outcomes, and integrates emotional lessons without real-world risk. Each dream is an opportunity to strengthen emotional resilience, process unresolved feelings, and prepare for future emotional challenges. Dreams are not random noise, but purposeful emotional education. The hippocampus and amygdala engage in a dialogue during sleep that determines which emotions become part of your long-term memory. The hippocampus, responsible for factual memory, repeatedly replays experiences to the amygdala, which responds by either strengthening or weakening the emotional associations. Studies using intracranial recordings in 2024 captured this conversation in unprecedented detail, showing that positive experiences typically get amplified emotional tags, while negative experiences often have their emotional intensity reduced over successive replays. This nightly negotiation between fact and feeling shapes not just what you remember, but how you feel about what you remember, gradually sculpting your emotional autobiography. Children's brains process emotions differently during sleep than adult brains, which partly explains why children often need more sleep. Research from the Child Mind Institute in 2024 found that children spend proportionally more time in REM sleep than adults, reflecting their greater need for emotional processing and learning. Children experience emotions more intensely and have less developed regulatory mechanisms, making sleep-based emotional processing even more critical for their development. A child's tantrum, nightmare, or emotional outburst often reflects incomplete emotional processing from inadequate sleep. Sleep is when children's brains practice becoming emotionally mature, learning to regulate feelings that overwhelm them during the day. Your immune system and emotional processing systems communicate during sleep in ways that affect both physical and mental health. Inflammatory markers that rise during emotional stress decrease during deep sleep, while immune cells that fight infection become more active. A 2024 study from Carnegie Mellon University found that people with chronic sleep problems showed both elevated inflammation and impaired emotional regulation, two problems that reinforce each other. Poor sleep triggers inflammation, which disrupts mood. Difficult mood creates stress, which further disrupts sleep. Quality sleep breaks this cycle, reducing inflammation while simultaneously improving emotional processing, demonstrating that mental and physical health heal together during the night. The connection runs deeper than we often realize, with each system supporting the other in quiet partnership. The prefrontal cortex, your brain's executive control center, partially deactivates during certain sleep stages, allowing deeper emotional processing to occur. During wakefulness, the prefrontal cortex constantly monitors and sometimes suppresses emotional responses for social appropriateness or self-protection. But during REM sleep, this inhibition releases, allowing raw emotions to surface and be processed without censorship. Research from the University of Wisconsin in 2024 showed that this temporary reduction in prefrontal control enables more authentic emotional processing, as if your brain can finally address feelings you've been unconsciously avoiding. Sleep creates a judgment-free zone for emotional honesty. The timing of sleep matters for emotional processing, not just the quantity. Research from Northwestern University in early 2025 found that people who maintain consistent sleep schedules, going to bed and waking at similar times each day, show more stable emotional regulation than those with irregular schedules. Even when total sleep duration is the same, consistent sleep timing helps regulate circadian rhythms that control stress hormone release and emotional reactivity. Your emotional brain thrives on predictability, using consistent sleep patterns to anticipate and prepare for emotional demands. Regularity in sleep creates regularity in mood. Emotional memories are reconsolidated during sleep, meaning they're not simply stored, but actively reconstructed each time they're processed. When your brain replays an emotional memory during sleep, it doesn't just file it away unchanged. It updates it based on new information, current emotional state, and long-term goals. Studies from New York University in 2024 showed that this reconsolidation process allows emotional healing to occur gradually over multiple nights. Painful memories can be slowly integrated into your life narrative with reduced emotional charge, while positive memories can be enhanced and strengthened. When sleep is limited, the brain tends to hold on to difficult emotional memories more readily than positive ones. Research published in Current Biology in late 2024 found that people sleeping less than 6 hours per night for 1 week showed stronger recall of challenging events and gentler recall of pleasant moments. Sleep loss doesn't just impair memory generally. It specifically disrupts the balance between positive and negative emotional memories, creating a tendency to notice difficulties more than joys. This subtle shift can color your entire perception of life, making the world seem heavier than it truly is. Adequate sleep maintains emotional balance in memory, allowing you to see life's full spectrum rather than just its shadows. The glymphatic system, which clears metabolic waste from the brain during sleep, also appears to play a role in emotional processing. Research from the University of Rochester in 2024 found that emotional stress produces specific metabolic byproducts in brain tissue that accumulate during wakefulness. During deep sleep, when the glymphatic system is most active, these emotional stress markers are cleared from the brain along with other cellular waste. Sleep literally washes away the biochemical residue of stress, preparing your brain for fresh emotional experiences tomorrow. The cleaning happens in darkness, automatic and thorough, requiring only that you rest and allow it. Emotional processing during sleep is influenced by what scientists call sleep pressure, the accumulated need for sleep that builds during wakefulness. The longer you've been awake, the more emotional processing your brain needs to do when you finally sleep. Studies from the Max Planck Institute in 2024 found that people who stayed awake for extended periods showed more intense emotional processing during subsequent sleep, with increased activity in emotion-related brain regions. Your brain doesn't forget the emotional processing it missed. It compensates during recovery sleep. Music and sound can influence emotional processing during sleep, though the effects are subtle. Research from the University of Bern in early 2025 found that people exposed to gentle, calming sounds during sleep showed enhanced processing of positive emotional memories and reduced processing of negative ones. The sounds don't wake you but appear to subtly influence which memories your brain prioritizes during processing. However, sounds associated with stress or anxiety can have the opposite effect, potentially enhancing negative emotional memories instead. The emotional content of dreams often reflects unresolved emotional concerns from waking life, but not always in obvious ways. A 2024 study from Harvard analyzed thousands of dream reports and found that while specific dream content rarely matches waking situations exactly, the emotional themes often align. Anxiety dreams tend to occur when facing real-life uncertainties, even if the dream scenario itself is unrelated. Your dreaming brain processes the emotional essence of experiences, not necessarily their literal details. Sleep helps you develop emotional granularity, the ability to distinguish between subtle emotional states. Research from Northeastern University in 2024 found that people with healthy sleep patterns could identify and name their emotions more precisely than sleep-deprived individuals. Instead of feeling generically bad, well-rested people could distinguish whether they felt anxious, frustrated, disappointed, or sad. This precision in emotional awareness, developed partly through nightly emotional processing, enables better emotional regulation and more effective responses. So far, we've seen how emotions continue their journey through sleep's opening stages, beginning a transformation that deepens as the night progresses. Your brain has already started sorting today's feelings, tagging some for preservation, preparing others for modification. The amygdala and hippocampus have begun their nightly dialogue, communicating in electrical patterns that determine which emotions deserve deeper processing. Stress chemicals have declined, creating a calmer biochemical environment for the work ahead. The foundation has been laid carefully, piece by piece. The stage is set for the profound emotional work that happens in dreams and deep sleep, where healing truly accelerates and memories transform in ways your waking mind cannot direct. The journey continues deeper now, into the realms where consciousness fades and healing intensifies. Let's pause here and notice your body. As you breathe out slowly, appreciate each tiny cell inside. Trillions of organisms working in silence. Heart beating, lungs breathing, brain thinking, all without your command. Notice the gentle sensations on your skin, in your muscles, along your spine. You are a complete ecosystem, diverse, self-balancing. Your emotions are being processed right now, even as you rest here, listening. The healing is already happening. Now we continue. REM, sleep, when most vivid dreams occur, is the brain's primary time for processing intense emotional experiences. During REM, your eyes move rapidly beneath closed lids. Your brainwaves resemble waking patterns, but your voluntary muscles are paralyzed, a state researchers call paradoxical sleep. Studies from the University of California, Berkeley in 2024 found that the amygdala is actually more active during REM sleep than during waking hours, firing intensely as it processes emotional memories. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex remains largely quiet, allowing emotions to be experienced without rational censorship. This unique neurological state creates what neuroscientists call an affective processing window, a time when your brain can safely experience and integrate powerful emotions without the physical stress response that normally accompanies them. The absence of norepinephrine during REM sleep is not accidental but essential for emotional healing. Norepinephrine is the brain's stress chemical, released during fight or flight responses and whenever you experience something emotionally intense. But during REM sleep, norepinephrine production stops almost completely. REM is the only time in your entire 24-hour cycle when this chemical is absent from your brain. Research published in Science in 2024 showed that this creates a neurochemically safe environment where you can revisit traumatic or difficult memories without triggering a full stress response. Your brain essentially creates a protective bubble where painful memories can be processed and their emotional charge reduced while you remain physiologically calm and safe. Dreams during REM sleep often recombine emotional elements from different experiences, creating scenarios that never actually happened. This isn't confusion or randomness. It's sophisticated emotional problem-solving. A 2024 study from MIT found that the dreaming brain extracts emotional patterns from multiple memories and combines them in novel ways, allowing you to discover connections between seemingly unrelated experiences. A current conflict with your boss might blend with childhood memories of parental criticism, helping your brain recognize and process recurring emotional patterns. Dreams create new combinations of old emotions, revealing hidden connections and facilitating emotional insight that logical waking thought might never discover. Your dreams are creative emotional synthesis. The intensity of REM sleep increases as the night progresses, with the longest and most intense REM periods occurring in the early morning hours. This means your most emotionally charged dreams typically happen right before you wake up. Research from the Sleep Research Society in 2024 found that these late-night REM periods show the highest levels of emotional processing activity, particularly for complex social and interpersonal emotions. Your brain appears to save the most challenging emotional work for when it's had several cycles of practice during earlier, shorter REM periods. By morning, you've built up to the deep emotional processing that can shift how you feel about significant relationships and experiences. Not all emotions are processed equally during REM sleep. Fear-based memories receive particularly intensive processing, likely because recognizing and responding to threats was crucial for human survival. Studies from the University of Geneva in early 2025 used brain imaging to show that fear memories are replayed more frequently during REM sleep than other types of emotional memories. The brain appears to prioritize learning from frightening or dangerous experiences, even when those dangers are social rather than physical. A humiliating moment, a betrayal, a loss. This preferential processing of fear helps explain why anxiety and worry can feel overwhelming after poor sleep. Without adequate REM time, fear memories don't get properly processed. Dreams can continue processing emotions from experiences that happened days, weeks, or even months ago. You don't always dream about today's events. Research from the Center for Sleep and Cognition in 2024 found that the brain maintains a queue of unprocessed or incompletely processed emotional experiences, returning to them during REM sleep even long after the original event. Old emotional wounds can resurface in dreams when current experiences trigger similar feelings, allowing the brain to work on related emotional themes across time. This explains why you might dream about a childhood experience during a period of adult stress. The emotional similarity creates a bridge. The emotional tone of dreams changes predictably across the night. Early REM periods tend to feature dreams with more intense negative emotions: anxiety, fear, frustration, while later REM periods often include more positive or neutral emotional content. A 2024 study from the University of Zurich that analyzed thousands of dream reports found this consistent pattern, suggesting that the brain processes difficult emotions first, then moves toward integration and resolution. By morning, dreams often feel more hopeful, creative, or peaceful. The emotional arc of your dream life mirrors a therapeutic journey from confronting pain to finding acceptance. REM sleep deprivation specifically impairs your ability to recognize emotional expressions in other people's faces. Research published in the Journal of Sleep Research in 2024 found that people who were selectively deprived of REM sleep but allowed other sleep stages showed reduced accuracy in identifying fear, sadness, and happiness in facial expressions. This suggests REM sleep doesn't just process your own emotions. It calibrates your social, emotional perception system, maintaining your ability to navigate the emotional landscape of human relationships. Without REM sleep, you become emotionally tone-deaf, the brain's default mode network, which is active when you're not focused on external tasks, becomes particularly active during REM sleep and appears to facilitate emotional self-reflection. Studies from Washington University in 2024 showed that this network helps integrate emotional experiences into your ongoing life narrative, answering questions like, what does this experience mean for who I am? And how does this fit into my life story? REM sleep is when you're most actively constructing meaning from emotional experiences, weaving individual feelings into the continuous thread of self-understanding. Lucid dreams, dreams where you're aware you're dreaming, can sometimes allow conscious influence over emotional processing. Research from the Max Planck Institute in early 2025 found that trained lucid dreamers could deliberately confront feared situations in dreams, effectively conducting exposure therapy during sleep. While most people don't regularly experience lucid dreams, this research suggests that the dreaming brain is capable of intentional emotional work when awareness is present. Even non-lucid dreams serve this therapeutic function automatically, processing emotions whether you're aware of it or not. REM sleep helps separate factual memories from emotional reactions, allowing you to remember what happened without being overwhelmed by how it felt. A 2024 study from the Netherlands found that emotional memories processed during REM sleep retained their factual accuracy while losing emotional intensity. You can recall a difficult conversation or painful experience clearly, but the associated anxiety or hurt becomes less acute. This separation enables you to learn from emotional experiences without being trapped by them, maintaining access to important memories while reducing their power to cause ongoing distress. The amount of REM sleep you need varies with emotional stress. Research from the University of Arizona in 2024 found that people going through emotionally challenging periods, grief, divorce, major life changes, naturally spend more time in REM sleep if allowed to sleep without time constraints. Your brain automatically adjusts sleep architecture to meet emotional processing demands. This explains why emotional exhaustion often comes with increased sleep need. You're not just physically tired, but emotionally requiring more processing time. Trust your increased sleep needs during difficult periods. REM sleep plays a special role in processing emotions related to social connections and relationships. Brain imaging studies from Princeton University in 2024 showed that areas involved in social cognition and theory of mind are particularly active during REM sleep. Your sleeping brain rehearses social interactions, processes relationship dynamics, and integrates emotional lessons from interpersonal experiences. Dreams often feature people you know because your brain is actively working to understand relationships, update social models, and process the complex emotions that arise from human connection. The emotional content of dreams can actually influence your mood upon waking, though the effects are usually temporary. Research from the University of Montreal in early 2025 found that people who reported positive dreams showed elevated mood for approximately 30 to 60 minutes after waking, while negative dreams could temporarily lower mood. However, this isn't the dream's fault. It's often a reflection of underlying emotional processing. The dream reveals emotional work in progress, not creating the emotion itself. As we reach this point in our understanding, we see that REM sleep is doing profound emotional work, running simulations, testing responses, extracting patterns, reducing fear's grip on memory, and helping you make sense of social and emotional complexity. The brain you wake with tomorrow morning will have spent perhaps 90 to 120 minutes in REM sleep tonight. Each minute devoted to emotional healing, integration, and preparation. The dreams you forget are still doing their work. You're still here with me. Thoughts still flickering like candlelight. Just notice. Don't judge. Just notice where your mind is. We're exploring consciousness itself, the very thing doing the exploring right now. Strange, beautiful, and perfectly calm. If this gentle journey is helping you understand your own emotional healing, perhaps share it softly with someone else searching for peace. One quiet tap, one peaceful night at a time. Let's drift onward together. While REM sleep processes emotions through dreams. NREM, deep sleep, particularly slow-wave sleep, performs a different but equally meaningful emotional function. During the deepest stages of NREM sleep, your brain's electrical activity synchronizes into large, slow waves that sweep across the cortex like ocean swells. Research from the University of Freiburg in 2024 found that these slow waves appear to coordinate the transfer of emotional memories from temporary storage in the hippocampus to long-term storage in the cortex. But crucially, this transfer process involves a transformation. Emotional memories that get consolidated during slow-wave sleep are typically stored with reduced emotional intensity compared to how they were initially experienced. Deep sleep doesn't make you forget. It helps you remember without reliving. Slow-wave sleep is when your brain's stress response system gets its deepest rest. Cortisol, the primary stress hormone, reaches its lowest levels during the first half of the night when slow-wave sleep is most abundant. Studies from the German Center for Neurodegenerative Diseases in 2024 showed that inadequate slow-wave sleep prevents cortisol from dropping to its nightly low point, leading to chronically elevated stress hormones. This creates a challenging cycle. Stress disrupts deep sleep, and disrupted deep sleep perpetuates stress. Quality slow-wave sleep breaks this cycle by allowing the stress response system to fully reset. preparing you to face tomorrow's challenges with a calmer biochemical baseline. During slow-wave sleep, the brain rehearses and strengthens emotional regulation strategies. Research from the University of Tübingen in early 2025 found that neural patterns associated with successful emotion regulation during wakefulness are replayed and reinforced during deep sleep. If you successfully calmed yourself down after an upsetting event during the day, your brain practices that regulatory pattern during the night, making it more automatic and accessible for future use. Sleep literally trains your emotion regulation skills, strengthening the neural pathways that help you manage difficult feelings. Each night of quality sleep makes you slightly better at emotional self-control without any conscious effort. The depth of slow-wave sleep directly correlates with emotional resilience the following day. A 2024 study from the University of British Columbia found that people who achieved more time in the deepest stages of NREM sleep showed greater emotional stability and resilience to stress the next day. They could handle frustrations more calmly, recovered more quickly from setbacks, and showed less reactive anger or anxiety. The deepest sleep stages appear to build emotional reserves, a kind of psychological battery that gets charged during the night and depleted during the day. Quality deep sleep doesn't just restore energy, it restores emotional capacity. Memory consolidation during slow-wave sleep involves an active forgetting process that's crucial for emotional health. Your brain doesn't preserve every detail of every experience. It selectively strengthens important elements while allowing trivial details to fade. Research from the University of Basel in 2024 showed that emotional details deemed unimportant or unhelpful for future functioning are actively weakened during slow-wave sleep. This isn't memory failure, but adaptive pruning. Your brain edits your emotional autobiography, keeping the plot and lessons while removing excessive, painful detail. This natural forgetting process protects you from being overwhelmed by accumulated emotional minutiae. Growth hormone, released primarily during slow-wave sleep, doesn't just repair physical tissues. It also appears to support emotional recovery. Studies from Johns Hopkins University in 2024 found connections between growth hormone release during sleep and improved emotional regulation the following day. The exact mechanisms aren't fully understood, but researchers suspect growth hormone supports the cellular and synaptic changes involved in emotional memory consolidation. This physical repair hormone somehow also facilitates emotional repair, demonstrating again how deeply intertwined physical and emotional health truly are during sleep. The temperature drop that occurs during sleep, particularly during slow-wave stages, may facilitate emotional processing. Your core body temperature decreases by about 1 degree Fahrenheit during deep sleep, and research from Northwestern University in 2024 found that this cooling appears to enhance the consolidation of emotional memories. The cooler temperature may support the metabolic processes involved in memory formation and emotional integration. Room temperature affects this process. Sleeping in overly warm environments can disrupt deep sleep and impair the emotional processing that depends on it. Slow-wave sleep appears particularly significant for processing emotions related to personal identity and self-concept. Brain regions involved in self-referential thinking show specific patterns of activity during deep sleep that correlate with emotional self-understanding. Research from the University of Arizona in early 2025 found that people with more stable self-concepts and clearer sense of identity tend to have more consistent slow-wave sleep patterns. Deep sleep may be when you integrate emotional experiences into your ongoing understanding of who you are, updating your self-concept based on recent experiences. The spindles that occur during NREM Stage 2 sleep, brief bursts of rapid brain activity, appear to protect emotional memories from interference. Research from McGill University in 2024 showed that sleep spindles help stabilize emotional memories during the consolidation process, preventing them from being disrupted by new information. More sleep spindles correlated with better retention of emotionally meaningful information. Your brain generates hundreds of these protective bursts each night, each one briefly appearing to lock significant emotional lessons into place before they can be forgotten or distorted. Halfway through our journey, a pattern emerges clearly. Your sleeping brain doesn't simply rest from emotional experience. It actively transforms it. REM sleep processes emotions through dreams and simulations. Deep, slow-wave sleep files emotions into long-term memory with reduced intensity. Stage 2 sleep protects significant emotional lessons from being forgotten. Each stage contributes uniquely to overnight emotional therapy. The question shifts from "Does sleep process emotions?" to "How does sleep heal what waking life wounds?" And the answer continues unfolding through the night. Take a slow breath and feel this moment. Let each breath guide you to realize time is yours, a separate stream that only you are living, while the vast universe continues to spin, expand, change. This second you're breathing, listening, is unique. Right now, your brain is healing emotions you experienced hours ago, days ago, perhaps even years ago. All of it happening in this present moment, in the safety of rest. Cherish the present moment, knowing that right now, your time is unique in the universe, and we continue drifting. Your brain employs sophisticated criteria for deciding which emotions to preserve intensely and which to soften over time. Research from Columbia University in 2024 identified several factors that influence this decision. Emotions connected to novel or unexpected experiences tend to be preserved with more intensity, as they represent significant learning opportunities. Emotions that align with your core values and identity receive preferential consolidation. Emotions that triggered successful coping responses are strengthened, while those associated with helplessness or overwhelm are often dampened. Your sleeping brain essentially asks of each emotion, does this serve future well-being? And adjusts emotional memory strength accordingly. This isn't suppression, but wisdom. The process, neuroscientists call synaptic homeostasis during sleep, plays a crucial role in emotional balance. Throughout waking hours, learning and experiencing emotions strengthen synaptic connections in your brain. If this strengthening continued unchecked, your brain would eventually become oversaturated and overwhelmed. During sleep, particularly slow-wave sleep, synaptic connections are selectively weakened or downscaled, with less significant connections pruned more aggressively. Research from the University of Wisconsin in 2024 showed that this process helps maintain emotional equilibrium, preventing any single emotional experience from dominating your mental landscape. Sleep restores balance by ensuring no emotion becomes too strong. Emotional memories compete for consolidation during sleep, and not all of them win. Studies from the University of York in early 2025 found that when multiple emotional experiences occur in a single day, The brain prioritizes consolidating those most relevant to ongoing concerns or future goals. An emotional experience related to your career might be prioritized over a brief interpersonal annoyance. An interaction with someone you'll see again receives more processing than an encounter with a stranger. Your sleeping brain performs triage, allocating limited processing resources where they'll provide the most benefit for navigating life ahead. Sleep after learning emotional information significantly enhances long-term retention compared to staying awake. Research published in Psychological Science in 2024 demonstrated this by teaching participants emotional information and then either allowing them to sleep or keeping them awake. The sleep group showed 50 to 60% better retention of emotional material 2 weeks later. Sleep doesn't just prevent forgetting through passive rest. It actively strengthens the memories you want to keep. This effect is particularly strong for emotionally meaningful information. Suggesting sleep prioritizes preserving experiences that matter most. The phenomenon called sleep on it, where difficult decisions seem clearer after sleep, has neurological basis in emotional processing. Research from the University of Amsterdam in 2024 found that sleep helps separate emotional reactivity from decision-making, allowing you to evaluate options more objectively. After sleep, people made decisions that better aligned with their long-term values rather than short-term emotional impulses. The emotional charge of options becomes balanced, neither ignored nor overwhelming, enabling wiser choices. Sleep grants emotional perspective that's difficult to achieve through conscious effort alone. Nightmares, while distressing, can serve an emotional processing function, particularly for people dealing with trauma or chronic stress. Research from the International Association for the Study of Dreams in 2024 found that nightmares often represent the brain's attempt to process overwhelming emotions that can't be handled during normal REM, sleep. While frequent nightmares may indicate inadequate processing, occasional nightmares appear to be the mind working through difficult material. The nightmare itself isn't the problem, but a symptom of challenging emotional work in progress. Sleep helps you develop what psychologists call emotional granularity, the ability to distinguish between similar but distinct emotional states. A 2024 study from Yale University found that people with healthy sleep patterns could identify and name their emotions more precisely than chronically sleep-deprived individuals. Better sleep correlated with richer emotional vocabulary and more nuanced emotional awareness. This precision matters because accurately identifying emotions is the first step in effectively managing them. Sleep enhances the resolution of your emotional perception, seeing distinctions where exhaustion sees only blur. The brain's reward system recalibrates during sleep, affecting what you find emotionally appealing or aversive the next day. Research from the University of California, San Francisco in early 2025 showed that dopamine receptor sensitivity resets during sleep, influencing motivation and emotional responses to potential rewards. After poor sleep, this system becomes dysregulated, making normally enjoyable activities feel less appealing, while potentially increasing craving for unhealthy rewards like junk food or impulsive purchases. Sleep maintains the emotional reward system's ability to guide healthy choices. Emotional contagion, the tendency to catch others' emotions, is influenced by sleep quality. Studies from the University of Michigan in 2024 found that sleep-deprived people were more susceptible to catching negative emotions from others, but less likely to absorb positive emotions. This creates a vulnerability where exhaustion makes you emotionally porous to others' stress and negativity, while resistant to their joy and calm. Quality sleep appears to strengthen emotional boundaries, allowing appropriate empathy without being overwhelmed by others' emotional states. The consolidation of positive emotions during sleep may be particularly significant for mental health. Research from the University of California, Berkeley in 2024 found that depression was associated not just with increased negative emotion, but with impaired consolidation of positive emotional memories during sleep. People with depression showed reduced ability to strengthen positive memories overnight, contributing to a bias toward recalling negative experiences. Effective depression treatment often improves sleep quality, potentially restoring the brain's ability to preserve joy and hope. Sleep helps integrate emotional experiences with semantic knowledge, connecting feelings to understanding. A 2024 study from the Max Planck Institute showed that emotional experiences processed during sleep become linked with related conceptual knowledge, creating richer, more meaningful memories. An emotional experience in nature might become associated with broader understanding about environmental connection. A difficult conversation becomes integrated with knowledge about relationship patterns. Sleep weaves feelings and knowledge together, creating wisdom from raw experience. The brain's anterior cingulate cortex, involved in detecting emotional conflict and errors, shows specific activity patterns during sleep that correlate with improved emotional conflict resolution upon waking. Research from Duke University in 2024 found that people facing emotional conflicts or moral dilemmas showed increased anterior cingulate activity during sleep, and this activity predicted better resolution of those conflicts the next day. Sleep allows your brain to work on emotional puzzles, even when consciousness rests. Emotional flexibility, the ability to adapt emotional responses to changing situations, improves with adequate sleep. Studies from the University of Pennsylvania in early 2025 demonstrated that well-rested individuals could more easily shift emotional responses when circumstances changed, while sleep-deprived people tended to perseverate in initial emotional reactions, even when inappropriate. Sleep maintains the cognitive flexibility needed to update emotional responses based on new information, preventing emotional rigidity. The process of emotional memory consolidation during sleep can be influenced by pre-sleep experiences. Research from the University of Freiburg in 2024 found that brief mindfulness or relaxation practices before bed enhanced positive emotional memory consolidation, while reducing consolidation of negative emotions. What you do in the hour before sleep influences which emotional memories your brain prioritizes processing. Evening routines that promote calm may guide sleep toward healing. We now understand that your sleeping brain performs sophisticated emotional triage every night, deciding which feelings to preserve, which to soften, which to connect with other knowledge, and which to release. This isn't random, but guided by implicit wisdom about what serves your well-being. The brain you wake with tomorrow will have been emotionally recalibrated through processes you never consciously control. Healing occurring in darkness and silence. Sleep's role in emotional regulation extends beyond memory. It affects real-time emotional responses the next day. Research from the University of British Columbia in 2024 used ecological momentary assessment to track people's emotional responses throughout the day following good versus poor sleep. After inadequate sleep, people showed larger emotional responses to minor stressors, took longer to return to baseline calm, after upsets, and reported feeling emotions more intensely overall. Sleep deprivation doesn't just affect mood. It amplifies emotional reactivity itself, making feelings bigger and harder to manage. The relationship between sleep and empathy is bidirectional and profound. Studies from UCLA in early 2025 found that poor sleep reduces empathic accuracy, your ability to correctly identify what others are feeling, while also reducing empathic concern, your motivation to care about others' feelings. Conversely, people high in trait empathy showed more disrupted sleep when exposed to others' suffering, as if their emotional processing systems required more nighttime resources. Sleep supports the emotional capacity to connect with and care about others. Emotional memory consolidation during sleep appears to be enhanced by the absence of external stimulation. Research from Brown University in 2024 compared sleep in quiet, dark environments versus sleep with ambient noise and light. Participants sleeping in optimal darkness and silence showed stronger consolidation of positive emotional memories and greater reduction in negative emotional intensity. The brain performs its best emotional work when given sensory peace, suggesting that sleep environment quality affects not just sleep quantity, but emotional processing quality. The phenomenon of sleeping on anger has neuroscientific support. Research from the University of Massachusetts in 2024 found that sleep after experiencing anger or conflict helped reduce the emotional charge of those experiences more effectively than simply waiting the same amount of time while awake. REM sleep particularly reduced anger-related amygdala reactivity to conflict memories. The old advice to never go to bed angry may be backwards. Sleeping on anger may actually help resolve it. Sleep supports the development of emotional wisdom, the ability to use emotions as information rather than being controlled by them. Studies from Stanford University in 2024 found that people with consistent, high-quality sleep showed greater emotional wisdom, using feelings as valuable data about situations while maintaining ability to choose responses. Sleep-deprived individuals showed reduced emotional wisdom, more often being overwhelmed by feelings rather than informed by them. Sleep cultivates mature emotional functioning, the brain's salience network, which determines what emotional information deserves attention, recalibrates during sleep. Research from the University of Pittsburgh in early 2025 showed that after adequate sleep, this network showed more balanced, responding to positive and negative stimuli, while after sleep deprivation, it became biased toward detecting threats and negative information. Sleep resets your emotional attention system, preventing anxiety-driven hypervigilance to potential problems. Emotional metacognition, your ability to reflect on and understand your own emotional processes, is enhanced by quality sleep. A 2024 study from the University of Toronto found that well-rested participants showed greater insight into their emotional patterns, better understanding of what triggered their feelings, and more accurate prediction of their emotional responses to future situations. Sleep provides the cognitive resources needed to think clearly about feelings themselves. The integration of emotional and rational thinking improves with sleep. Research from MIT in 2024 demonstrated that after sleep, people were better able to incorporate both emotional and logical considerations into decisions, achieving more balanced judgments. Sleep-deprived individuals tended toward either overly emotional or excessively detached decision-making, losing the integration that supports wise choices. Sleep enables emotional intelligence by facilitating emotion, reason, collaboration. Sleep helps you develop what researchers call emotional prospection, the ability to anticipate future emotional states and use that information in present decisions. Studies from Harvard in early 2025 found that well-rested people could more accurately predict how they would feel in future scenarios, helping them make choices aligned with long-term emotional well-being. This forward-looking emotional intelligence depends on the cognitive resources that sleep restores. As we approach the deeper stages of our journey, the truth becomes clear. Your brain doesn't just process emotions during sleep. It actively decides which emotional lessons to preserve, which to modify, and which to release. Sleep is overnight therapy, conducted by the wisest therapist you'll ever have, your own brain, guided by millions of years of evolution toward emotional healing and balance. You might be feeling tired now. That's perfectly fine. Breathe slowly. Feel the cycles. Your emotions cycle like breath. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. A small cycle within the vast universe. Pain comes, pain goes. Joy arrives, joy fades. All cycling like seasons, like tides, like the rotation of Earth. You are also part of that eternal movement. You don't need to hold on to anything. Let everything unfold in its perfect order, like planets silently rotating in their orbits, unhurried, unresisting, simply existing. Your emotions are cycling through healing right now, following rhythms older than consciousness itself. We're almost there now. Sleep is to emotions what digestion is to food, an essential process that transforms raw experience into nourishment or waste. Just as you cannot will your stomach to digest faster, you cannot force emotional processing through conscious effort alone. Research from Yale in 2024 found that attempting to suppress or force emotional resolution during wakefulness often backfires, while sleep allows natural emotional processing to occur automatically. Trust the process your brain already knows, perfected through countless generations. The accumulation of unprocessed emotions from inadequate sleep creates what researchers call an emotional backlog, a queue of feelings awaiting their turn for processing. Studies from the University of Michigan in early 2025 found that chronic sleep restriction leads to cumulative emotional sensitivity that requires time to gently resolve. Just as a backlog of work grows more challenging to address over time, emotional processing needs become more complex when sleep is consistently limited. This backlog can feel overwhelming, emotions stacking upon emotions, each one requiring attention that sleep was meant to provide. Regular, sufficient sleep prevents this accumulation, maintaining emotional clarity and allowing each day's feelings to be processed in their proper time. Every night of quality sleep is an investment in tomorrow's emotional well-being. Research tracking thousands of participants over years found that people who prioritized sleep showed greater emotional stability, better relationship quality, and higher life satisfaction across decades. The emotional benefits of sleep compound over time, creating resilience that weathers life's inevitable storms. Each night you sleep well is a gift to your future self, an act of self-compassion, echoing forward. Your emotional processing during sleep doesn't just affect you, it influences everyone you interact with. Well-rested people create calmer environments, respond more compassionately, and contribute to others' emotional well-being. Sleep-deprived people inadvertently spread emotional dysregulation through irritability, reduced empathy, and impaired communication. When you prioritize your sleep, you're not being selfish. You're ensuring you can show up for others with emotional presence and genuine care. The healing that happens during sleep is gentle, gradual, and persistent. No single night transforms you completely, but each night moves you incrementally toward emotional balance. Research from the University of Zurich in 2024 found that even small improvements in sleep quality, 15 to 30 minutes more, slightly better sleep efficiency, produced measurable emotional benefits over weeks. Healing accumulates in small increments, like water slowly shaping stone through persistent, gentle pressure. Some emotional healing requires multiple sleep cycles over many nights. Grief, trauma, and profound loss cannot be processed in one sleep session. Studies from the Bereavement Research Program in 2024 found that emotional recovery from major losses follows a predictable pattern of processing across weeks and months of sleep, with gradual reduction in emotional pain. Sleep provides the repeated opportunities needed for deep wounds to slowly heal. Your dreaming mind knows things your waking mind doesn't yet understand. Dreams often arrive at emotional insights before conscious awareness catches up. Research from the University of Montreal in early 2025 found that dream content sometimes predicted emotional breakthroughs that occurred days or weeks later during waking life. The unconscious processing during sleep prepares insights that eventually surface into consciousness when you're ready to receive them. The boundary between waking and sleeping isn't always sharp. Emotional processing continues in the transition. Those drowsy moments before sleep and just after waking show unique brain states where emotional insights can surface. Many people report their clearest emotional understanding arriving in these liminal states, when the conscious and unconscious minds briefly collaborate. Honor these threshold moments as valuable processing time. Children's emotional development depends critically on adequate sleep. Young brains process emotions differently than adult brains, requiring more sleep to consolidate emotional learning and regulation skills. Research from the Child Development Center in 2024 found that consistent sleep quality in childhood was associated with better emotional regulation patterns years later. Though many factors contribute to emotional development across time, supporting children's sleep is supporting their lifelong emotional well-being, giving them the processing time needed to develop healthy emotional patterns and resilience that will serve them throughout their lives. As you age, emotional processing during sleep may become even more meaningful for well-being. Studies from Johns Hopkins in early 2025 found that older adults with good sleep quality maintained better emotional regulation than younger adults with poor sleep. Quality sleep can compensate for some age-related cognitive changes, preserving emotional wisdom even as other functions shift. Sleep remains your ally throughout life's journey. The emotional healing of sleep doesn't require belief or conscious participation. It happens whether you understand it or not. Your brain performs overnight emotional therapy automatically, guided by ancient biological wisdom. You need only provide the conditions: regular sleep, adequate duration, safe environment. The healing itself requires no effort, no technique, no willpower. Simply rest and let your brain do what it already knows. Some emotions will always remain, And that's okay. Sleep doesn't erase grief or eliminate all pain. It helps you carry difficult emotions with less suffering. Research shows that sleep processing integrates painful experiences into your life story, transforming raw wounds into scars that mark you but no longer control you. Healing doesn't mean forgetting. It means finding peace with remembering. Your brain creates entire emotional worlds while you sleep. Every night, feelings transform, memories shift, and your emotional landscape quietly rearranges itself. Characters appear in dreams. Processing unfolds, and healing emerges, all generated from within. These inner emotional worlds feel real in the moment, complete with depth and nuance. Yet they vanish upon waking like morning mist, leaving only subtle shifts behind. The mystery of emotional processing continues to reveal itself to researchers, but much remains unknown. How exactly does the brain decide which emotions to modify? What determines the content of emotional dreams? Why do some people process emotions more effectively during sleep than others? Science offers growing understanding, but sleep's emotional wisdom still surpasses complete explanation. Some healing remains beautifully mysterious. Trust that healing happens in darkness. You don't need to watch, analyze, or control the process. Your sleeping brain has been doing this work since before you had words for feelings, since before you could remember your own name. The emotional processing that's happening right now requires only your permission to rest, let go, and trust. Every person listening now is experiencing emotions, some acknowledged, some hidden beneath awareness. Whatever you're feeling, stress, sadness, hope, confusion, peace, your brain is preparing to process it tonight. The feelings that seem overwhelming now will be sorted, softened, and integrated while you rest. You don't have to solve anything before sleeping. Sleep itself is part of the solution, happening automatically when you allow it. The emotional transformation that occurs during sleep is invisible but real. You cannot watch it happening, cannot measure it moment by moment, cannot control its precise mechanisms. Yet every person who wakes feeling slightly lighter, calmer, or clearer than the night before is experiencing this transformation. Invisible healing is still healing. Trust what you cannot see but can feel. Your emotional journey through sleep mirrors larger life patterns, cycles of difficulty and ease, pain and relief, confusion and clarity. Just as emotions shift through sleep stages, life moves through seasons of challenge and growth. Sleep teaches you nightly that difficult feelings do transform, that healing does occur, that morning does arrive after night's darkness. This pattern repeats at every scale. The work of emotional processing is relationship between you and yourself. Your conscious mind resting, while your unconscious mind heals. Your waking self trusting your sleeping self. This internal partnership requires no maintenance beyond showing up each night. Your sleeping brain is your most faithful companion, working tirelessly on your behalf, asking nothing but the opportunity to serve you. We are approaching the end of our journey through sleep's emotional healing. From the first moments of drowsiness to the deepest dreams, from slow wave consolidation to morning's gentle waking, your brain orchestrates profound emotional transformation. This happens every night, has happened every night of your life, and will continue as long as you live and sleep. The ultimate truth about emotional processing during sleep is this: you are never alone in your feelings. Every human who has ever lived has faced the nightly task of emotional processing. Your ancestors slept and healed. Your descendants will sleep and heal. Right now, millions of people across the world are sleeping, their brains all performing the same ancient emotional work. You are part of that universal human rhythm. Sleep reminds you that healing doesn't require constant effort or vigilant control. Some of life's most meaningful work happens when you release control, when you stop trying and simply allow. The emotional processing of sleep is nature's gift. Automatic, free, available to everyone who rests. You need only accept it by lying down, closing your eyes, and trusting what unfolds in darkness. The emotions you carried into this night will be different by morning. Not erased, not denied, but transformed in subtle ways you may not even notice consciously. A slight softening, a small shift in perspective, a gentle integration. This is how overnight emotional therapy works. Not through dramatic breakthroughs, but through quiet, persistent healing that accumulates over time like falling snow. Your brain is processing emotions right now. Even as you listen to these words, even as drowsiness deepens or sleep approaches, the healing has already begun. You don't need to wait for anything, achieve anything, or understand anything more. The emotional processing is happening, will continue happening through the night, automatic and faithful as breath itself, asking nothing from you. So rest now. Knowing this, your sleeping brain is the wisest healer you will ever encounter. It knows which emotions to keep, which to soften, which to release. It knows how to transform pain into wisdom, confusion into clarity, overwhelm into acceptance. Trust it completely. Your emotional healing doesn't depend on understanding, only on sleeping. Let go now. Sleep heals. And so, our quiet journey through emotional processing comes to a gentle close. We've traveled from the first moments when emotions begin transforming in early sleep, through the dream simulations of REM and the deep filing of slow-wave sleep, discovering along the way that sleep is overnight therapy conducted by your own wise brain. From the amygdala's nightly processing to the prefrontal cortex's restful quiet. From cortisol's decline to memory's gentle softening. We've glimpsed how emotional healing is, both sophisticated science and simple rest. Emotional processing during sleep reminds us that healing doesn't always require conscious effort or understanding. Much of life's most meaningful work happens in silence, in darkness, in the automatic wisdom of bodies and brains that know how to heal themselves when given the chance. Sleep reveals patience, showing us that transformation occurs gradually, gently, through repeated nightly cycles rather than single dramatic moments. Without sleep's emotional processing, we cannot fully be human, cannot learn from feelings, cannot integrate experiences, cannot wake tomorrow emotionally prepared for life. By pausing to understand this process, we glimpse the extraordinary in the ordinary act of closing our eyes each night. In these final minutes, take the deepest breath you can. As deep as possible, think about unity of every emotion, every memory, every healing moment that happens during sleep across all human experience. You are not separate. You are a link in the endless chain. Think about consciousness itself. Yours, mine, everyone listening. All awareness, everywhere. Perhaps all connected in ways we don't yet understand. You are not alone in the universe of minds. Let your entire being dissolve into the ocean of consciousness, into dreamless rest, into the space before thought. Prepare for deep sleep. No boundaries left, only peace. If this thoughtful exploration of the mind helped you understand your own emotional healing tonight, a gentle like and subscribe helps other sleepless souls discover this peaceful space too. It only takes a moment, but it means the world to us. One quiet tap, one sleepy soul at a time. But there's no need to do anything now. Nothing at all. You've traveled far tonight, farther than most journeys take you. You can allow these thoughts of emotional processing to fade now, like memories dissolving into dreams, leaving only the peaceful calm behind. Let your breathing deepen. Let your body feel heavier, as if gravity itself is gently pulling you toward rest. If sleep comes, let it carry you like a calm river flowing to the ocean, smoothly, inevitably, into a realm where time and weight no longer matter. If your eyes are still open, the next video is waiting for you, ready to continue the journey. But if they're closed, stay there. Stay in the darkness that feels safe and warm. Tomorrow, emotions will still arise. Life will still present challenges. But tonight belongs to stillness. Tonight, your brain will continue its healing work in the quiet hours while you rest deeply, processing feelings you didn't even know needed attention. Rest well, beautiful soul, and remember, your sleeping brain is healing your emotional world right now, has been healing it since you were born, and will continue faithfully as long as you allow yourself to rest. Dream deeper with bedtime science. Relax, listen, and drift into sleep. Good night.